The I-Ching, and the I-Ching is this, it's a Taoist book, so it's from China, and the I-Ching is, if we looked at it, and so just from a Western point of view, it would look like, kind of like fortune telling, you know? But when you look at it from a Chinese view and from a Taoist view, the I-Ching, it has, I'll bring in a copy of it. It basically has like all these different scenarios, and it has a number of chapters that each have advice depending on what's going on with you in the present moment. And so it is the idea that you right now are a reflection of everything that is going on around you. So there's like the spiraling down, and that what's going on with you in the moment could also be reflected, and it sounds kind of crazy, but it also could be reflected by, if I dropped like some keys on the ground, that the random way that they landed would also reflect this present moment. And so essentially with the I-Ching, you are just randomly, is anyone familiar with it? Has anyone ever worked with the I-Ching? No? Okay. So essentially you're randomly throwing some coins, so they're usually Chinese coins, and then from it, you cast these coins and you come up with a variety of lines that are either split or they're together. So it's like ancient binary code, you know? And then from that, you're going to come up with a specific pattern that relates to you in the present moment, and then it directs you to the chapter that you're supposed to read, and then it's a set of just general advice for what's going on with you in the present moment. And it is because in this belief system, everything is a reflection of each other, you know, and so it all interacts and shows and reflects itself in the present moment. So there is a story that illustrates this, and I think I've told it to some of you, so forgive me if I have. But this is a story. It comes from a Chinese folktale called Seven Taoist Masters, and it was translated by a woman that I studied Qigong with. Her name was Eva Wang. But essentially there was this Taoist master, and his name was I-Ching. And he was traveling with these other Taoist masters trying to find enlightenment. And he had an addiction to food, and he just couldn't let it go. And his master was part of this traveling group of Taoist masters. And as they went from village to village, I-Ching would disrupt the group with his obsession for food. He would alert the villagers to where the monks were meditating. He would disrupt the group. He kept bringing food to his master, and his master would be like, I don't want this, you know? And I-Ching would think, maybe he doesn't like white rice. Maybe he likes brown rice instead. So he'd just like keep doing it again and again and again, until finally his master got so tired of I-Ching that he tore their shared meditation cushion in half and left I-Ching because he just didn't get it, you know? So I-Ching, staying true to his obsession, went into the village, and he started begging for food again. And this servant brought him out some pie. And as he was eating the pie, a Chinese face reader happened upon I-Ching. And he saw in I-Ching's face that he was destined to die of starvation. So he let him know. He said, like, basically, give that pie to me right now, because it's your destiny to die of starvation. And if you don't listen to me, and if you keep with this obsession for food, and if you don't just go after your destiny, then you're gonna have so much misery. And then the story goes on to a bunch of other weird stuff, as all good folk tales do, and all good like legends and parables do. So it goes into some stuff like the Chinese face reader tells stories of other people who were destined to die of starvation, and they didn't listen. And they all die in these horrible ways, but first, before they die, they'll experience something like almost getting food and then dying, you know? So it goes through all those things. And so I-Ching listens, and he believes the face reader. And so he sets off to try to die. And as he tries to die, he finds that he's unsuccessful each time. He goes up to the mountain, and he is emaciated, and he's about to die of starvation, and there's a rainstorm which creates a flash flood, which washes him down the mountain. And remember, it's a folk tale. So some birds come and put like berries in his mouth or something. And And a series of these types of things happen. The last one, he's in this temple that's abandoned, and these bandits come, and I-Ching is about to die, and he looks horrible. And the bandits, they've done some horrible things, but they see him and they're concerned about their own karma, and so they take pity on him by brutally and forcefully feeding him. And so I-Ching is resisting it and stuff. So there's more to this story, because it's the way these things work. But essentially, after some time, I-Ching goes back to the face reader because he decides that it's not my destiny. I'm not going to die of starvation, you know? And so he goes back, and at this point, he's achieved enlightenment, but he is kind of still angry. Apparently, you can achieve enlightenment and still have room for growth in this story. So, anyway, so he goes back to the face reader, and he's like, hey, do you remember me? And the face reader looks at him and says, no, I don't. And I-Ching tells the face reader that I actually was sitting out here eating pie not long ago, and you came to me and you told me that it was my destiny to die of starvation. You put me through hell. I'm paraphrasing here. You guys know I'm not good at quotes. Okay? So you put me through hell, and I tried to die and I can't die, you know? And the face reader said, I remember that guy, and he was destined to die, you know? I hope that he set out to die because he was going to have a lot of misery, but you have a very different face. Your face is one of a man that will achieve enlightenment and will have all these like amazing things happen. And so these stories never wrap it up for you. They just like leave it there, right? But essentially, I think that this is saying that his face reflected the moment when he had the addiction, right? And then later, when he was free of that addiction, he had a very different face and a very different countenance. So when we look at something like the I-Ching, then the premise is that it's showing what's going on in the moment. And as soon as you have acceptance, because acceptance is really a big component of most of Eastern thought, right? This is the catalyst for really big change, that our thoughts, the way we think, what we really believe and feel inside, that this has outward results, right? Not just internal, but also outward results. And so that story illustrates that, but the I-Ching is also reflective of that. So something that we would look at and think of as fortune telling is actually a very debatably, but practical approach. You know? So, yes?
Is the I-Ching the name of the Chinese ancient medical text which serves as a foundation for?
No, that's the Huangdi Neijing. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. The I-Ching is a different book, and I'll bring it in and show it to you. We don't go into it in this class because it's just something I wanted to reference. So.
Do you believe in fortune tellers?
What?
Do you believe in fortune tellers?
I don't know. When I was in Thailand last time, there was a fortune teller, and she said to me, "Stay single, travel the world." And I started getting, yeah. But I think that she says that to all single traveling women in Thailand.
Yeah.
And she would be smart to say it, right?
Yeah.
So,
tourists are singles.
Yeah. I could say that. I mean, that's like a pretty general statement, you know. She's like, especially anyone younger, they're bad for you. I'm like, really? Can I just have like a little bit of no? So yeah. What? Yeah. Or older. Anyone really. She hates men. Okay. So anyway, so my experience with fortune tellers at the New Year's Eve festival in Chiang Mai, because that's really like my own experience, you know, is that the jury's still out on my belief in fortune tellers. Okay. So let's look at this quote from the I-Ching now that you guys know what this book is. Lots of translations of the I-Ching, just like there are many, many translations of this other book called the Tao Te Ching that I'll talk to you about. So many translations. So this one is by John Blofeld. So everything observable by the senses is subject to change and therefore in motion. There are interlocking cycles of change. One cannot bid the winds and waves to cease, but one can learn to navigate treacherous currents by conducting ourselves in harmony with the prevailing processes of transformation.